Hey, it's Emily. Welcome back to English and Ease, the quiet little corner where you and I get to talk, think, and grow together in English one day at a time. If this is your first time here, I'm really glad you found us. And if you've been listening for a while, thank you for trusting me with your learning journey. I never take that lightly. Today, I want to talk about something that's close to the heart for so many of us: how to speak English fluently and fast. And not in a cold, textbook kind of way, but in a way that actually fits into your real life, your real schedule, and your real emotions. I've heard so many learners say, "Emily, I try to speak, but my words just disappear. I get nervous. I freeze. I forget what I know." And let me tell you something very important. If you felt that, you are not alone. We all start there. Even me. Fluency isn't some magical switch that gets flipped overnight. It's more like planting a garden. You water it, a little each day. And then, suddenly one morning, you see green. You don't get fluent by studying harder. You get fluent by living a little more in English every day. So, what if I told you that? In just 30 days, you could feel real change. Not perfection, but progress. Not fear, but freedom. So today is the beginning of your 30-day fluency plan, and I'll be right here with you, every step of the way. Let's start from the very beginning. Week 1, the foundation. Because without strong roots, the tree can't grow. And in English, that means learning the right words, understanding real phrases, and tuning your ears to the rhythm of this language. If you skip this part, speaking will always feel shaky. But if you build your base with care, speaking becomes so much easier. All right, let's break it down. Week 1, your foundation. There are 3 things I want you to focus on this week: essential vocabulary, common phrases, listening every single day. Let's talk about vocabulary first. You don't need 1,000 words to speak well. You need the right words. I used to carry around these giant lists of vocabulary, thinking the more I knew, the better I'd be. But most of them I never used. They just sat in my brain like heavy luggage. What helped me instead was choosing 10 or 15 words that I could actually live with. Words like eat, go, bring, feel, tired, happy, friend. The words you'd use on a normal day. Let's do a quick check. Do you know how to say "I feel tired today"? Or, "Can you bring me some water"? How about "I'm meeting a friend later"? If you can say those, you're already building something real. Now, here's your tip. Don't just memorize the words, use them in short, honest sentences from your own life. Try this. I eat rice every morning. I go to work at 8. My friend is funny. Say it out loud. Whisper it to yourself while doing dishes. Let English become a sound in your world, not just a subject in your notebook. Now, let's move to common phrases, the glue of conversation. These are the short expressions that we say all the time in real life. Things like, "How's it going? Can I help you? Sorry, I didn't catch that." Or even just, "What time is it?" These little phrases are gold because they let you join a conversation, even when you're nervous. They're your lifelines. When I was first learning Spanish, I survived entire days just by knowing "¿Dónde está el baño?" and "¿Puedes repetir eso?" That's the power of phrases. So write down a few that you hear often, and don't just read them, act them out. Imagine you're at a cafe. "Hi, how are you today? I'll have a coffee. Please. Thanks so much." Say it as if it's really happening. English lives in voice, not on paper. And finally, the heart of this week: listening. I want you to listen to English every single day, even if it's just 5 minutes while brushing your teeth or riding the bus. The more your ears absorb the sounds, the more your brain adapts. That's how babies learn. They listen, then mimic, They're not memorizing, just absorbing. Start with simple podcasts, easy videos with subtitles, or children's stories. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. You're training your brain to recognize patterns. One method I use is repetition. Pick a short clip, maybe 30 seconds. Listen to it 3 times. The first time, just let it wash over you. The second time, try to catch individual words. The third time, read along if you can. By the end, your brain will start to anticipate the sound. You can also shadow. That means repeating right after the speaker, trying to match the rhythm. We'll do more of that in week 3, but you can start playing with it now. And here's something small but powerful. Keep a notebook. Every day, write down 5 words or phrases you heard. Write a short sentence with each. Say it out loud. Build your muscle. That's what fluency is. It's not knowing more. It's being able to recall and use what you already know. Let's try a short role play right now. Imagine it's you and me, just practicing. Emily, hi there. How are you today? I'm good. Thanks. What time is it, Emily? It's 3 in the afternoon. Can you help me with my English, Emily? Of course. Let's practice together. See how simple that is? But it's real. If you practice just that every day for a week, you'd already be ahead. I know what you might be thinking. Emily, it still feels hard. What if I mess up? And here's what I'll tell you. You will mess up. And that's okay. That's how you learn. Fluency isn't about being perfect, it's about connection, being understood, saying what's in your heart, even if the grammar isn't 100% perfect. In fact, native speakers mess up all the time, but they keep talking. That's the secret. So for this first week, promise me one thing: you'll show up. Even if you're tired, even if your pronunciation feels off, even if you're scared, just show up. Because that's how it begins. Not with big words, but with small courage. And I'll be right here, whispering along with you. Next time, we'll start speaking. Week 2 is all about putting your words into real conversations, even if they're short, even if they're clumsy. But for now, take a breath. Practice one phrase you learned today. Say it out loud. And smile because you're already on your way. I'll see you in the next episode. And remember, English isn't a race, it's a rhythm. And you're learning how to dance. Welcome back to English in Ease. I'm Emily, and if you're here, I want you to take a moment and be proud of yourself. Really. You showed up again. You didn't give up after one episode. And that alone tells me you've already taken the hardest step. So now that we've built your foundation, those essential words, daily listening habits, and phrases you can actually use, it's time to move into week 2. And I'm going to be honest, this is where many people get scared, because week 2 is all about speaking. Yes, out loud, with your voice, not just in your head. I know that can feel terrifying. I've been there, sitting in a classroom, heart racing, palms sweaty, just waiting for the teacher to call my name so I'd have to speak and risk sounding wrong. That fear is real, but you can't let it hold you. So let's talk about how to practice speaking, even if you don't feel ready. Week 2, speaking with confidence. Even if you're scared, here's the truth: you don't need perfect grammar to speak English. You need bravery and practice. Fluency comes from using the language, not just knowing it. So this week, I want you to try 3 things. Practice speaking even if it's alone. Use self-talk to build fluency. Record yourself to build awareness and confidence. Let's start with something simple: self-talk. It might sound silly, but it's actually one of the most powerful ways to train your brain to think in English. Try this. The next time you're cooking, say out loud what you're doing. I'm chopping vegetables. I need some salt. I'm turning off the stove now. Or when you're getting ready for the day, I'm brushing my hair. I have a meeting at 10. I feel sleepy, but I'll wake up soon. It might feel weird at first, but soon it becomes natural. You're giving your brain permission to live in English even in the quiet moments. Now, if you can find a language partner, that's even better. It could be a friend, a tutor, or someone you meet online. There are lots of apps now where you can talk with other English learners or even native speakers. But don't wait for the perfect partner. You can begin right now by speaking with yourself. Another great tool, recording your voice. I remember the first time I recorded myself in another language. I almost couldn't listen to it. I cringed at every word. But then, I noticed something strange. I wasn't as bad as I thought. I just needed to slow down, breathe, and keep practicing. Try this. Pick a short paragraph from a book or an article. Read it out loud and record yourself. Then play it back. Ask yourself, was I too fast? Did I sound flat or expressive? Could I understand myself clearly? Don't judge, just observe. Every recording is a mirror, and with each one, you'll improve. Let's take a moment to practice together. I'll pretend we're having a short conversation. You can pause and answer me out loud when I speak. Okay, Emily, how are you today? Pause to answer. That's good to hear. What are you doing this afternoon? Pause again. Sounds nice. I'm just practicing my English. 2. Do you want to practice with me? Pause. Great. Let's keep going. Even just doing that once a day is a huge win. Because here's the secret: the more you speak, the less afraid you'll feel. And the less afraid you feel, the more fluent you'll become. Now, let's talk about one big fear: mistakes. I know. You want to sound smart. You want to sound natural. But sometimes, you forget a word, or you use the wrong tense, or you freeze mid-sentence. Let me tell you something from my heart. You are allowed to make mistakes. Fluency is not the same as perfection. Fluency means you keep going, even with mistakes. Think of a river. It doesn't stop because of a rock. It flows around it. That's you. Your English will flow as long as you don't stop yourself. So, please, be kind to yourself. Celebrate the fact that you're speaking, even if it's messy. That's how progress happens. Let me give you a quick, fun way to practice each day this week. Daily speaking routine. 5-10 minutes. Day. Self-talk 2. Min, describe what you're doing right now. Out loud. Phrase practice 2. Min, pick 2 to 3 phrases and say them in a conversation tone. Like, can I ask you something? I don't understand. That's a great idea. Mirror talk 2. Min, stand in front of a mirror. Talk to yourself like you're talking to a friend. Smile, gesture. Recording 2. Min, read a short paragraph and record it. Reflection 1. Min, write down one word or sentence you want to improve tomorrow. Simple, easy, consistent. That's the key. Let's imagine something for a moment. It's the end of week 2. You've been practicing every day, even just for a few minutes. You're still not perfect. You still forget words. But one day, you walk past a tourist who looks lost and you hear yourself saying, "Excuse me, do you need help?" And they smile, and you smile, because it came out naturally. And in that small moment, you realize you're speaking English. Not just studying it, not just memorizing it, you're living it. And that's what this week is all about. So let's recap what we're doing in week 2. Talk to yourself in English every day. Use your voice, don't stay silent. Record, listen, and grow from your own progress. Forget about mistakes. Speak anyway. Practice short, daily speaking rituals, just a few minutes at a time. And most of all, don't give up. Because the only difference between someone who's fluent and someone who's not is that the fluent person kept speaking when they were scared. And that person, that's you. In the next episode, we're moving into something exciting: pronunciation and confidence. You'll learn how to sound more natural, how to match the rhythm of native speakers, and how to speak with the kind of confidence that comes from knowing your voice matters. But for now, breathe. Speak something out loud. even just one line. Let it be imperfect. Let it be brave. I'm proud of you already. Hi again, it's Emily, and welcome back to English in Ease. If you've made it to part 3 of this fluency series, I want you to pause and realize something. You're not just learning English anymore. You're becoming someone who speaks it, someone who hears it in the world, understands it, and responds. That shift is everything. Over the last 2 weeks, you've done the hard work. You've started building your foundation daily vocabulary, useful phrases, real listening. You've spoken out loud, even when your heart pounded. That's something most people never dare to do. Now, in week 3, we're going to do something powerful. We're going to focus on your pronunciation, your speaking rhythm, and maybe most importantly, your confidence. Because it doesn't matter how many words you know if you're too afraid to use them, and it doesn't matter how perfect your grammar is if no one can understand what you're saying. So today, we're going to unlock the sound of English. Let's begin. Week 3 pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. I want to tell you something that changed the way I spoke forever. English is music. It has a beat, a tone, a flow. And when you start to hear that music, not just the words, but the rhythm, you begin to speak more fluently, almost without trying. And that's why I'm introducing you to one of my favorite techniques, shadowing. Have you heard of it before? Shadowing means you listen to a native speaker say a sentence and then you repeat it immediately, trying to match the rhythm, tone, and pronunciation exactly like an echo, like a shadow. This is not just repeating words. It's copying feeling. It's learning to sound natural by sounding like someone else, until your brain and your mouth start moving together automatically. Let's try it right now. I'll say a simple sentence. You listen, then pause and repeat after me. I'm learning to speak English fluently. Go ahead. Try to copy the exact way I said it, the rising tone at the end, the flow between speak and English. Let's do another, I don't understand that. Can you repeat it? Notice how the rhythm moves, not like a robot, like a person talking to someone. That's what shadowing trains you to do. You can practice this with YouTube videos with subtitles, short podcast clips, movie lines, or even music lyrics. Start with just one sentence a day. Listen 3 times. Then shadow it 3 times. And remember, don't mumble. Speak with feeling. Even exaggerate a little. Over time, your muscles will remember how it feels. And that brings us to another important piece, tricky sounds. Let's be honest, some sounds in English are just weird. Maybe the TH in think, or that gives you trouble. Maybe the R in river or mirror feels too hard. Maybe you struggle with VV's W. That's normal. English has sounds that don't exist in many other languages. But here's the good news, you can train your mouth to make them. Try this simple exercise. Say 3. Make sure your tongue gently comes between your teeth. Don't bite it. Say river. Focus on curling your tongue slightly upward for that R sound. Say very and worry. Can you hear the difference? One uses the lips and teeth. The other uses the lips in a rounder shape. Practice these like you'd practice a piano scale, slowly, clearly, without stress. 10 minutes a day is enough. Now, let's talk about recording yourself again. This week, your recording will sound different because you've started working on sound and rhythm. Here's what to do. Choose a short paragraph from a podcast or a blog. Read it out loud and record yourself. Then, listen to a native speaker read the same text or something similar. Compare the two. Where do you sound flat? Where do you match the flow? Pick one sentence, shadow it, and then try recording it again. Don't expect perfection, just aim to get closer. Each day, one step closer. Now, the part we all try to hide from: confidence. Confidence isn't something that comes before speaking. It comes from speaking. It grows in the cracks of your fear. It builds each time you try, even if your voice shakes. Let me tell you something personal. Years ago, I was living abroad, trying to learn French. I was terrified of making mistakes, so I stayed quiet. for months. And guess what? My French stayed stuck. But one afternoon, a child got lost in the park, and I had to speak to her mother in French. I didn't think. I just acted. I said, Elle est là-bas, près de l'arbre. She's over there, near the tree. The mother smiled. Merci, she said. And in that one moment, I realized I can do this. Confidence is not about getting it right. It's about being willing to connect. So this week, I want you to talk to someone, anyone, even if it's a cashier, or a friend, or someone in an English chat room, even if it's just, "Hi, how are you? I'm learning English. I hope you have a good day." Speak with warmth. Speak with courage. You don't have to sound like a native. You just have to sound like you trying, growing, showing up. Let's recap week 3. Practice shadowing daily. Listen. Repeat. Match. Rhythm. Focus on tricky sounds. Train your pronunciation like muscles. Record and reflect. Notice progress without judging. Talk to a real person, even just one sentence. Build confidence through action. Even small steps matter. You're not just studying now. You're becoming. And I want to leave you with this. Some people wait their whole lives to feel ready. But the truth is, fluency doesn't wait for readiness. It responds to bravery. And you, my friend, are brave. Next time, we enter week 4, real-life fluency. That's when English stops being something you practice and starts becoming part of your life. We'll talk about immersion, movies, thinking in English, and real conversations. But until then, here's your challenge. Find one sentence, shadow it 5 times, then speak it to someone, even if they don't respond, even if you whisper it in a mirror. That's the step. That's the spark. I'm with you. You're not learning English anymore. You're living it.